Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and this is Regular Guy Training, and I'm going to address something that very much annoys me. It very much annoys me because I see the exact opposite trend all the time, and it's with comments that are something to the effect of, "Oh, well, all this testing is great, but the average shooter is never going to shoot this much," or "Why are your standards this way? The average shooter is never going to blah blah blah." You know what's really funny about all of that is that trend is dying. It's dying. Okay, with the number of people that possess firearms, not just ARs or AKs, but handguns, shotguns, whatever, and the amount that the community as a whole, as far as just training is concerned, competitive stuff is concerned, all of that. All of it is growing at an alarming pace, right? For anybody that is anti-2A, because it's impossible to stop. But this isn't just possession. Training industry is ridiculous. Okay, when I started doing this in earnest, okay, we're talking about like 2009, 2010. When I started doing this in earnest, going somewhere else to receive training was weird. It was really weird. Like, why would you do that? Like you're in the army. Why would you go do that? It was an anomaly. It was something that people didn't hear very much about. Okay, there were a lot of training. There were not a lot of training companies that were out there in general. Okay, and even fewer that were worth it. Right? For some reason, okay, between then and now, okay, in 12 years that I've been doing this anyway, that's exploded. Now it's normal. Now you're kind of weird if you've had all these guns but you don't go out and seek training. You're kind of weird if you don't run out and shoot. Okay, why do you have all this in the first place if you're not going to go out and get good? Right? You know, so you have this crowd that runs around and looks at the amount that I shoot, for instance, and looks at it like, "Oh, well, that's your job. That's a profession. Okay, it's your job to shoot." No, my job is not to shoot. My job is to teach. Okay, my job is not to shoot at all. My job is to teach people. Shooting well is just something that I need to be able to do, because people don't want to be asked to do something and then the guy that's telling them to do that can't do it. Right? That's a personal responsibility thing that I am taking to make sure that I do my job correctly. Okay? And so that students that come through understand that what I'm asking of them is doable. That's not always the case with a lot of people in the industry. A lot of people will ask you to do things but are not very good. Okay. And unfortunately, that is a reality of the matter. But the thing is that there's a lot of people that don't demo very much, or they do it dry. And they certainly won't talk about mistakes that they've made in the middle of their demo, which is baffling to me. But that's not the point that I'm making now. The point that I'm making now is I am sick and tired of hearing the point that, well, the average shooter is never going to put 5,000 rounds through their guns. It's growing more inaccurate by the day. Okay? Because in the few years that I've been up and running as a schoolhouse, there's a little over 1,000 people that a nobody, can throw a rock at, and that dude shoots 30,000 rounds plus a year. Before then, talking about 2009, 2010, you'd struggle to find those numbers anywhere of guys that were not professional shooters that put up those numbers. Now it's the norm. Now professional shooters are actually under a lot of pressure because a lot of people are doing a lot of shooting. And the skill ceiling needs to be higher because a lot of people are getting really good really fast. To sit there and have the thought that that is the case, while accurate, it's barely accurate. And it's growing more untrue by the day. And what's also really screwed up is that it's horribly dismissive to people that are actually looking for quality instruction, or that are actually looking for quality components, that actually need those things for their jobs or their lifestyles in general. To sit there and look at the higher standards of quality, for instance, just in parts life. Okay, just in parts life. We're not going to talk about all that other stuff that I certainly could wrap into this. But to simply look at the higher standards in quality of parts life or reliability, okay, and to dismiss it with, oh, well, people don't shoot that much anyway. It's horribly anti-consumer, anti-American, anti-2A. Because frankly, the thought of, I'm still in the Army, okay? Doing 12 Bravo things, been in the Army for some time now, right? The thought of just the population at large, in general, running around with way better rifles than what I'm carrying around is heartwarming. It's heartwarming. It really is. Because what it means is that, very well-armed populaces generally don't have their governments tripping on them too hard with the axe. You know what I mean? So to sit there and talk for 1 second, or to dismiss higher quality of parts, higher quality of reliability, or accuracy, or smooth shooting nature, or speed, or whatever, right? To sit there and dismiss that, it's hard to put into words because, as I said, it's horribly anti-consumer, anti-2A, anti-American. And on top of this, you're just selling people and yourself short. Because what this really is that it's a projection. It's a projection. I don't shoot a whole lot. Therefore, most people don't shoot a whole lot. And that's nonsense. Nonsense. There certainly are people that talk way more than they press trigger shoes. Those people exist. They're annoying as hell. Okay, because basically, anytime that they show up to a class, that's the only time that they train, number one. And number two, they show up like action figure collectors, just kind of like, oh, check out this cool thing that I've got. Oh, did you hear about this cool whiz-bang thing or that or blah, blah, blah. They're not, like for me personally, all of the gear stuff, like I personally don't care. I can talk for a long time about it because just over time I've learned a bunch about it, but I'm not, like, I'm not head over heels for the next latest, greatest whiz-bang thing. Sometimes, yeah, admittedly, it puts me behind a power curve as far as really good developments that happen. But other times, I'm just focused on the let's do good part. Let's fight good part. Let's have a really high skill ceiling part. And let's make the skill floor very high too. Right? Let's make my worst day pretty good. Compared to like your average green suit dude. Okay? And my best day, they can't even touch me. Like, that's where my goals are, more than anything else. And I'm not alone in that either. There's tons of people that are very much the same way. And pretty much any trainer worth his salt, while he will be more or less up to date on the new technology breakthroughs and stuff that are coming up, and while there might be a certain technology base that they're very interested in, for instance, like the development of handgun red dots, Aaron Cowan is all about that, and he's right on it when new ones come out. He runs out and tests them and that kind of thing. I can understand that for sure, because that just makes, in general, okay, pistol shooting better, as well as dots did for rifle. But I don't want to get off message here. Point is that there is a multi-level industry that exists for people that actually do this quite a lot. So to sit there and dismiss that is one of the most annoying things I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, so when people come at you, when they tell you, oh, well, you shouldn't worry about that level of quality anyway because, most people don't even shoot that much in the first place. Why are we worried about this? I'm not worried about people ever. I am not worried about people that don't understand how important their own life is or their family's lives are. Okay? Yes, my priority is to make sure the roof is over the head, that people are fed. True. But anybody can do that. Anyone can do that. We live in a system with so much excess that poor motherfuckers are fat. That's easy. Okay? It might be stressful. Trust me, I'm a dad too. It might be stressful. But compared to other things, it's easy. It's the things that you can't take back. Like that gunfight, you should have won if you trained. If you were in shape. That's the stuff you can't take back. So I'm not worried about people that don't have their fucking priorities straight. If you want to come out and train with us, you absolutely can. If you want to support us through Patreon, it's awe-inspiring how incredible you people are. And if you want to get something out of that, $41 a month gets you training with us as much as you want. If you want to follow us on Facebook, you absolutely can. Links for all this are in the description below. And remember, a regular guy's firearm is the last defense against tyranny. Be easy.